for the street to the beach, I'll be rolling. Beat for the street to the beach, to the beach. Beat for the street to the beach, I'll be rolling. Beat for the street to the beach, to the beach. Beat for the street to the beach.
The Hundreds has been around for close to 8 years now. We started off as a t-shirt brand, graphic t-shirts, and also our website was really integral to the overall brand. We had always had intentions of moving into cut and sew and apparel. That was always part of the game plan. We just didn't know how to get there. Ben and I, we started this company with a few $100 out of our own pockets. We didn't have any connections as far as family in the business. We didn't know how to get clothes made. We did know how to just make some graphics and screen print them onto t-shirts, and that was how we started the brand. And I think still to this day, as far as streetwear goes, that is the heart and core of what streetwear fashion is. And every brand should begin organically through that in terms of building themselves as a proper entity.
Then you'll play some Alexander till them strangers kiss, yeah. And baby, whether I'm your dog or your pet peeve, I'll press play.
Along the way, we made friends with a really great guy and big inspiration for us. His name is Alyasha Aworkamore. Ollie is responsible for brands such as Fiber Ops and Alphanumeric. He basically approached us one day and was like, "Hey, do you guys want to make some cut and sew? You guys want to, take it up to the next level?" And we were like, "Sure. How do we do this?" I myself had never personally designed anything along cut and sew lines. Making a graphic T-shirt is a completely different process, production, design process as far as compared to cut and sew.
So one of the positive things that's coming out of the rising costs in China is that production in North America, US production, is becoming much more achievable and obtainable. The pricing is not that different. Plus you have shorter lead times, deliveries are quicker, you can stay on trend a lot faster. So really in the next 10 years, I think you're going to see a lot of production moving back to North America. Mexico is currently setting up a lot of shops. They're doing a lot of knitwear down there.
Hey, you must got a fever. Too hot to have a man, girl. You must got a.
I personally think that cut and sew is still a very big deal for streetwear brands, and I don't consider it a staple of a streetwear brand. I don't think that the streetwear brand necessarily needs to involve cut and sew in their range to be considered a true streetwear brand. And a lot of brands do it, and for most of those brands, I'd say it's ultimately the reason for their demise. A lot of brands don't do it very well. Their hearts might be in the right place when they go into it, but it's a lot trickier than it seems. It's a completely different animal than just doing printables, doing graphic t-shirts or fleece. It's a different animal from doing accessories, from doing headwear. And just as footwear is a different animal than cut and sew, it gets into the crazy numbers game. It gets into production issues, and at the end of the day, a lot of it has to do with money.
A watermelon sundae. Hey, you taste so cool and you're crispy, clean, cool. Yeah,
we did it because, again, we were attempting to create a lifestyle brand, a true lifestyle brand, an all-encompassing lifestyle brand, and we had always envisioned making denim and moving into outerwear and wovens and more advanced fleece options, and that's where the cut and sew came from.
I wanna make love, yeah, I said we might break up, yeah. The sun will go.
Wherever it comes from, we're thinking of the fabrics first because that will ultimately determine how the form and shape of the garment exists. But there may be something that we want to do, and we kind of search for the fabric first, and then the rest of the pattern and the design follows. sometimes we find a particular fabric, or we come across a particular fabric that ultimately determines a brand new design that we hadn't even thought of before. And often designs, you know, that already exist, we'll tweak them to match a particular fabric that we want to work with. So fabrics are extremely important to the method, to the process of building these silhouettes, to designing a clothing garment.
As far as production and quality goes for the hundreds, Pat touched on it earlier. We're actually trying to increase better quality, present a better product from the hundreds, and do that all while also lowering the costs. That's actually a really difficult thing to do because, as we've already mentioned, in China it's getting really expensive. Costs are rising, and it's a big push for us to actually make our product more affordable, make our clothing a little bit more accessible for everyone to get a hold of.
Grabbed the juice and she sipped the gin. 2 men never did what I had done, but my excuse is that we was having a little fun. And funny, I remember daily taking her to work, and watermelon sundaes was her favorite dessert because life ain't sweet.